The Improvement Service Committee will come to order. We'll note that Alder Scannell's here, Alder Gerlach is here, Alder Burnett is excused. And can I have an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alder Scannell, second by Alder Gerlach. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. D, approval of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Gerlach, second by Alder Scannell to approve the minutes. Any changes? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Under regular business, everything we discussed tonight will be a recommendation to the council next Tuesday.
I always forget to mention that myself.
Yeah, I know. I usually remember, but not always. Number one, consideration with possible action on request by Green Viper LLC to dedicate to the city of Green Bay the infrastructure improvements in Rady Estates subdivision.
With residential subdivisions, historically, for at least the last 20 years, the city of Green Bay has offered three options that developers can utilize. Option one is a traditional subdivision design where the developer submits a plat to the city. Then the city takes that plat, we design all the infrastructure, so the sanitary sewer, the storm sewer, the water main, the roads, curb and gutter, and any sidewalk that's necessary. We let a contract, bid it out, build the work, and assess the property owners back. Option three is a complete design and build by the property owner. They go ahead, prepare the plans and specs, submit them to the city, we review them. Once we've approved them, they bid everything out. We supply an inspector, we bill back for that inspector's time. Once the improvements are complete, they request to dedicate the improvements over, and by building it at their cost, they're no longer assessed for it, but rather they pay cash. And the hope is that they're able to do it cheaper than what we can. Option two is a blend between that, where they do the design, we approve the design that they've contracted out, and then we bid it. So this one, Green Viper at Bradley Estates, was an option three, so it was complete design build by the contract or by the developer. We did bring a development agreement to you a little over a year ago to allow that to happen. All the work has been completed. We've reviewed, inspected, and concurred that the work meets city standards. So the developer is now requesting to dedicate those public improvements over for the city. So that'll be dedication of right-of-way and all the infrastructure improvements associated with the subdivision. Staff is happy with the progress out there and recommends approval.
Questions? Motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Gerlach, second by Alder Scannell to approve. Any discussion on that? Those in favor?
Aye.
Alder Gerlach.
Just a quick question. Is someone recording the meeting? I didn't hear anyone say they were recording. We have to record, don't we?
Yes, it's being recorded.
Okay. Okay.
Someone in the back with a little
We have to.
camera.
Oh, I see him right behind you.
Yeah,
Yeah. The CIA gets it
that's
all.
Jim. That's Mr. Burnett back there. All right. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number two, consideration on the report for the 2022 Department of Public Works equipment acquisition process.
We have included in the packet for you a summary of the equipment to be purchased by the Department of Public Works for the 2022 budget year. This is something that we historically have brought to the INS committee. Prior to about 4 years ago, we used to have a line item in our budget that was called city equipment usage. And what we would do is every time that a piece of equipment rolled and was used for city purposes, we would track that time, and then at a fraction of the city rate, we would bill ourselves for the use of that equipment. It would come out of the general fund and get placed into this 427 capital equipment account. That money was then used to purchase our equipment when it needed to be replaced. Because the actual equipment wasn't part of the budget process and wasn't being bonded for previously, we came up with this table so that we could bring it to INS, show it to you, and get concurrence from INS and ultimately the council on the equipment we were intending to purchase. Now, a couple of years ago, that changed. We no longer have that same fund, and instead, rather than being in the operating budget, in order to make up a budget shortfall, about a $2 million budget shortfall several years ago, we decided to start bonding for equipment. So in that first section that says Operations Division Capital Equipment Account, again, all we're doing is we're letting you know what equipment we intend to purchase, and this will become part of our bond request through the Finance Department. In particular, item number 1, which is lease vehicles, light vehicles, and item number 7, the pickup 4x2 with an 8-foot box. Those two are part of the lease program, so there's actually not a bond request that's associated with it, but rather the money that was generated by selling the in-house lease vehicles that we previously owned is what's funding the lease of these other vehicles. So that money is already in a segregated account that finance keeps track of and is being taken care of. Items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8 are ones that we will be bonding for in the spring bond issue. Now, with that, we also brought this to Finance Committee last night because the lead time on these pieces of equipment, we actually have to sign up with the equipment manufacturer to get a build slot. And if we wait until we actually have the bonding taken care of, if that bonding happens in, say, March, we get our name on the build slot. If we're lucky, we might get a build slot that starts in August. We've been hearing from manufacturers that if we don't get in with a build slot prior to the beginning of the year, we may lose the ability to actually even order equipment for calendar 2022. So last night we went to Finance Committee and asked the Finance Committee to commit to bonding for this equipment in the spring so we can at least put the order in and get a build slot. If for some reason something happened and we would have to pull out, we can cancel and somebody else will gladly take our build spot from us. So this comes out, the top section, what we're going to be asking for bonding for in the spring comes out to $1,375,000. Then we drop down sanitary's cap equipment, replacement and new. There's nothing there this year. Stormwater, we have 2 street sweepers that are being replaced. Those 2 pieces of equipment were actually in the budget for the storm sewer utility. Likewise, within the parking division, the 3 pieces of equipment there were actually listed out under parking as equipment purchase replacement under the parking division. Go to page 2. We've got Operations Division equipment, replacement, and new equipment. Those 2 categories were included under our new equipment and equipment replacement within the budget, so that's being taken care of. We're simply listing it out for consistency's sake here. So again, what we're simply doing here is providing you with the actual list of pieces of equipment that we intend to either purchase or replace in 2022, and identifying what the funding sources for all of those are and asking for approval from the committee that these are the pieces of equipment we should be buying.
Questions from committee?
So we're actually giving our nod that not just that this is a process, but that this actual equipment is the right way to go.
Well, yeah, essentially.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I got.
And the only reason that we have to approve it is that it's over $25,000?
Correct, because we're making an expenditure or planning an expenditure over $25,000, we would need committee approval when we actually spend the money. So you're actually going to see this 3 times. You see it when we approve the equipment plan itself. Then when we put the bids out on the individual pieces of equipment, and then because the reason we bring it here is any line item that's more than 5,000 needs to be fully lined out. And again, historically, that first category was not part of the budget. This is kind of a superfluous item nowadays because of how we're we're bonding for the equipment. But because we've always done it, we just continue to make sure that you folks are well informed as far as what we're going to do.
I appreciate seeing the breakdown. That's nice. Any motions or other questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Scannell, second by Alder Gerlach. Discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Number 3, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to enter into a professional services contract with Mcmahon Associates, Inc. to continue vegetative maintenance associated with a select grouping of city-owned stormwater facilities in 2022.
So with the stormwater facilities, things like ponds or biofilters that the city has constructed over the past number of years, obviously we've spent millions of dollars in constructing these things. We want to make sure that they are maintained and kept up so that they continue to function the way they were designed. What we have done over the past couple of years is separated all of the facilities into 2 major groupings and have 2 consultants on board to do the maintenance work, Mcmahon Associates and Northern Ecological Services. Mcmahon and NES have been performing this work for us for the past several years. It definitely has shown for those facilities that are in or near proximity to residential neighborhoods, we don't have vector problems. They fit in well with the neighborhood. And this also assists us with efforts to eradicate and keep the muskrats from burrowing into the sides, which we have the muskrat contract every year as well. So again, this is a annual extension of McMahon's contract rather than entering into a long-term contract. We choose to do it on an annual basis, so we have the ability to continue to evaluate their services and make sure that we're getting what we're paying for and that the value is there. McMahon continues to perform very well, so staff recommends extending the contract for 2022.
Any questions?
And this
Okay,
is
what
in
are
the
your-
budget, right?
Yes, this is all budgeted for within the stormwater budget.
Okay. I move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Gerlach, second by Alder Scannell to approve. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Did you say vector before? Vector, Grenier?
Vector, yes.
Okay. I was going to ask you what's your vector, Victor, but I held off.
Roger.
All right. Number, where are we here?
4.
5, number 4, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to enter into a professional services contract with Northern Ecological Services, NES, division of Robert E. Lee and Associates to continue vegetative maintenance associated with the select grouping of city-owned stormwater facilities in 2022.
Very, very similar to the previous item. This is simply the other stormwater facilities that we have utilized NES for the same scope of services that McMahon is performing on their set.
I would move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Alder Gerlach, second by Alder Scannell to approve. Any discussion on that? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, number 5. Consideration of possible action on request by Department of Public Works to enter a professional services contract with Ecological Services, division of Robert E. Lee and Associates to continue vegetative maintenance associated with the North Webster Avenue vegetative soil in 2022.
With the North Webster project, when we put the vegetated medians in on that project, those are actually stormwater management devices. That project was after we had the contracts for the other stormwater facilities between McMahon and NES. So this one does not land on the list that either McMahon or NES have under contract because of the work that needs to be done out there. Those biofilters came up with a lot of weeds, so there's some replanting that's going to need to be done. And a little bit more extensive scope of services on that, on the North Webster project. So we've elected to go with NES because they actually have the ability in-house to eradicate the old vegetation and to plant in what we need for that biofilter to work. So staff is recommending to award that contract to NES.
All right, committee?
I have a
Motion to approve.
question. I have a question. Is this new this year?
The NES contract is, for North Webster is new this year, yes.
Okay, thank you.
There was a motion by Elder Scannell to approve. Is there a second?
Oh, yes, I didn't hear it.
Second by Elder Gerlach. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. And number 6, consideration of possible action on the need to replace the winter ice control brine making system hopper.
So we have included a quotation from Casper's Truck Equipment in the packet for the hopper replacement and upgrade for our brine making system. So it's more than just the stainless steel hopper. It also includes some of the controls that operate our brine making system. The hopper is a little over 10 years old, probably closer to 12, going into this winter season. And due to the extensive amount of use that it has received during its life, we're starting to have some issues with it. Some of the filtration that goes on within the brine system, and then there's gaps from dumping salt into the hopper over the years where it marries up against the actual brine making equipment. We're starting to get some failures in there, and it's things that we cannot repair any longer. We've kind of been patching it and putting a Band-Aid on it as long as we can. But we did bring Casper's in, who is the local Henderson vendor in our area, and they are definitely stating that we need to have that hopper replaced. The brine making machine is definitely a critical part of our winter operations, and we cannot go without it. And unfortunately for us, this isn't the kind of thing that we can go out on the open market. The hopper is kind of married to the brine making equipment, so you can't go to vendor A and take his hopper and put it on vendor B's piece of equipment. So we did talk to the purchasing department, and we filled out a sole source request, which we have got approved, but did not have time to get it into the packet. What we are looking at is the base price of $59,994 with the $450 option for the low salt warning light. So we're asking for funding in the amount of $61,000 to replace that. We are going to fund this. We had a relatively light precipitation, winter precipitation throughout the first part of 2021. So we are currently trending under budget with our overtime for snow plowing. So we're planning on utilizing that unutilized overtime expenditure line item to fund this replacement.
Questions from the committee? No.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Elder Gerlach, second by Elder Scannell to approve. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Number 7, consideration of possible action to have the Common Council give final approval authority on the award of RFP 2021-39, the Improvement and Service Committee, to accommodate the December 2021 meeting schedule and report out their action at the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Improvement Service Committee. Bradford.
Okay, we have a request for bids out through the purchasing department for street light poles, street light fixtures, and associated ancillary items that go along with our street lighting system. So things like brackets, meter pedestals, fuse holders, connectors, wire, that type of thing. Primarily for 3 major areas within the city. Item number 1 would be our annual streetlight repair program. That's part of our budget, so that will be funded out of our budget funds. So what we're doing is replenishing inventory for poles that have been replaced over the course of the year, and that way we've got poles on hand to start the program again next year. Second area would be replacement of poles on Broadway. Those pole replacements are being funded through TID 5. And then the third area would be to install streetlights in the Legends district, and that would be funded through the Legends TID. Especially with the annual levy-supported streetlight replacement fund, and with TID 5, those expenditures need to be made before the end of calendar 2021. So what we're asking for, we're anticipating bringing the bids back. We'll have those bids in time for the next INS meeting, but if we have to wait until the 21st for the council to approve it, now we're into Christmas week, and with vacations and folks not being here in finance and so on and so forth, we're worried that we may not be able to get that paperwork executed prior to the end of the year. Instead, if the council gives the authority to you as the committee to make the final award, we'll have that the ability to make that award on the 15th, and that buys us one extra week to make sure we get everything in before the end of the year.
Oh, the power.
Need a street light, Randy? We can pop a few more in here.
I heard a legend that something's going to happen in the Legends district.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I had just sent an email to Chris Pierlot, it was yesterday or today. I got a few comments from some residents and some friends who were visiting, and a couple business owners over there, that it's pretty dark on Legends Lane. There's no sidewalks, so it's, gets a little tricky with people walking and cars zipping through, and the ice and the snow, and so that can't happen soon enough. Can we have them done before our home playoff games?
Jim has given me a no.
All right, okay.
Break out those flashlights.
I'm glad to hear that's part of it. Any questions from committee?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Elder Scannell, second by Elder Gerlach. Discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Wow, 2 nice, easy meetings. That's crazy. What in
If
the
you
world?
hurry, we'll be done in 1 hour with both meetings. Hurry up.
The only
Oh,
The
we got
only
the director's
difference is-
report. I hear that's going to go for like at least a half an hour.
what's that? The director's report? Yeah, director's report. Here we go. You got half an hour.
Okay. As we were talking about earlier, staff has completed 5 full rotations of leaf collection or fall yard waste throughout the city. They are picking and choosing, or picking their way through the city as time and weather allows with pans and tractors. Most of that material has been picked up. We are not doing another full collection. We're simply picking up piles where we find them as time and weather allows. So fall loose leaf collection has been completed for the year officially. With that in mind, one of the reasons that we can't keep going is we have pulled the fleet in and have completed the conversion of the truck fleet from summer to winter operations. So we do have the spreader boxes in, the hydraulics are hooked up and tested. We are mounting plows as we speak. So the plow is, or the fleet is being converted at this point for winter operations. Luckily, we had enough units converted for the couple of spreading operations and minor plowing that we've had to complete over the past week. So we want to make sure that we have everything up and ready to go for the next time that we get a major snow event. So that completes the director's report for tonight.
Any question? Elder Scannell? Elder Scannell? Almost said Randall.
For leaf
Brenda?
collection, and maybe this should be a communication for later on or something. Do you think maybe we should start trying to make it more of a spring collection than a fall collection? Try to get people to leave the leaves on the ground, and because it seems like fall, we're really getting jacked up more and more. The leaves falling later and later. If there's do you think we should start trying to figure out maybe some other way of handling it, or
We do both.
I know we do
We
both,
also
but
do
maybe
a
we
spring
should-
yard waste collection. So
maybe we should try and cut back. No, leave it. Get it in the spring. No.
I need it both times.
Well, not eliminate it completely in the fall, but maybe just try to get people.
I don't know if that'll be very popular.
yeah, we try to get as much as we can on
I know, it's-
both events that we're out on. So
Yeah.
It's the best thing in the world to hear that truck coming down the street and look out and see that great big vacuum hose coming along. And I run out there and I take all my boxes of leaves out of my garage and dump them into the terrace and they come and swoop them up. I love it.
As
No,
long as
but
you're
what
not
if they come
dumping,
back? What if they come in at 1 a.m?
as long as you're not dumping them in the street, we're good.
Yeah.
But you know, one time they did tell me to dump them in the street because they were right there ready to pick them up. And they said, put them in the street. We're going to have them out of here in 30 seconds. And
Yep.
they did. I work with that team.
Good.
Motion to receive and
right.
place on file.
Motion by Alder Scannell, second by
Second.
Alder Gerlach to receive and place on file. Those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are at the end here. Our next meeting, December 8th. All goes as planned. So
Motion to
We-
adjourn.
we're at the end. All right, Alder Scannell, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Alder Gerlach has a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Hate to be
Motion carried.
leaving you, but
All right. Thanks for your time tonight, folks.
Bye.